Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Infinis Nootropic. This is one of my favorite nootropic powdered products, probably of all time. And it's so good, in fact, that I'm going to have a scoop right now. Not a lot left. Going to go the full scoop. Time for a sip. I actually love the flavor. All right, so let's get into it. Now, this is a very comprehensive nootropic product. Infinis is kind of renowned for these absolutely balls out formulas. But what I like about it is, although it's completely decked out, it still isn't one of those just everything in the kitchen sink formulas. Everything in here is synergistic and intentional, and it works together really well. So let's kick it off with breaking down all the ingredients in here. And there's quite a few, so I'm going to move pretty quickly. But first up, you'll notice we've got a range of B vitamins. In fact, all of these B vitamins that you'll see here in the panel are actually associated with improved brain function, as well as other functions in the body. Most notably the B1, which is known to help upregulate dopamine, and of course vitamin B12. But you've got niacin, you've got B6, you've got a whole gamut. You've even got some folate in there, which is going to help you with a bit of methylation. Great for the brain as well. So, and you'll notice that we're over 100% of our dietary recommended intake on all of them. So essentially, it takes care of your B vitamin dose for the day. Then we get into the next ingredient, which you'll see here is tyrosine. Now, this is one of the few products where you'll see a full 3-gram dose of tyrosine. Anyone that follows the guys from Price Plow will probably know by now that 3 grams of tyrosine is really where they see the sweet spot being for that dopamine surge that you can get from tyrosine. And I tend to agree, if you really want to have a dopamine surge from tyrosine, 3 grams is where you'll start to notice something. Not a lot after that, and not a heap before it, unless you're tired and it's just topping you off. So great to see that in here, and it's at that maximum dose right there. Then next up, we've got acetyl L-carnitine, and there's a full gram of that. Now, most people will be familiar with that ingredient as a fat burning or a lipid mobilization ingredient. In here, it's not in there for that reason, of course. It's also known as a great brain health ingredient. And what it will do is not only help your mitochondria function better, which is great for brain function, but it'll donate an acetyl group as well. Just going to go back for another sip. So acetyl L-carnitine's also been shown in studies with children that have attention deficit disorders to have better focus at about a 4-gram dose, but also acetyl groups help other ingredients get absorbed better into the brain as well. So it helps things cross the blood-brain barrier. So having it in there not only is going to upregulate the mitochondrial function, possibly help with attention and focus in its own right, it's going to help other ingredients cross the blood-brain barrier. And also the acetyl group can assist with acetylcholine production, which will synergize nicely with the acetylcholine donors in here. And there's quite a few. And so next up, probably my favorite nootropic ingredient of all time, cognizin. This is CDP choline. This is a form of acetylcholine precursor that also helps make some cytidine in the brain, some uridine production, and really gives me a nice tunnel vision when I take it. And it's in here at a whopping 500 milligram dose. So that's literally twice the dose that you probably need to start feeling it, but not too much that it's excessive. So already it's decked out, and if that was all that was in here, that'd probably be enough. But on top of that, we've got Genius Pure, a form of alpha-GPC that's standardized, trademarked, and it yields 90% alpha-GPC, not the usual 50%. So out of the 500 milligrams of Genius Pure, you're actually getting 90% of that. So it's a great dose of alpha-GPC. It's quite a high dose of alpha-GPC, but it's not too much that you'll start to get foggy, which I notice is about a gram of alpha-GPC or so. All right, so next up, Bacopa monnieri is a known BDNF increasing herb. It helps open up the capillaries in the brain as well for better blood flow, and it behaves similar to lion's mane with a bit more of a dopaminergic edge to it. So it's great to see in here in lieu of the lion's mane, which is typically what's used in these types of formulas. Bacopa is one of those great ingredients that's really just like neck and neck with lion's mane for promoting BDNF, for helping with blood flow in the brain, and for its long history of traditional use. This is an Ayurvedic herb, lion's mane being more of a Chinese herb. So really take your pick, but I love that they put the Bacopa in here for something different, and maybe for people that don't want the lion's mane, they want an alternative herb that does a similar thing. And then next up we have uridine monophosphate. This is not an ingredient you see all the time. It's one of, I'd say, the big 3 of nootropic precursors, alpha-GPC, CDP choline being the other 2. To see all 3 in one product is just crazy. Uridine has a real dopaminergic feel, tunnel vision. You get this extra drive. It helps upregulate dopamine production. It helps with acetylcholine production as well. It's going to synergize with the alpha GPC in there. It's just a really good time. And it's all dosed so well that you could obviously run this at half scoop for more of an economical boost, or full scoop if you want to put the pedal to the metal like I'm doing today. That said, time for another sip. And then next up we have another trademark ingredient, and that is Anextra. Now, Anextra targets a process in the brain known as ANF, Attention Network Focus. So this helps you select tasks to focus on and drill down even deeper into them. It's also known as a caffeine-free energy source that lasts about 5 hours to give you like a bit of a brain boost, an energetic boost. And I do notice that from Anextra. It's subtle, but it's there. And it's a good pick to have in here to increase energy levels because this product doesn't rely on caffeine. And then we come to one of the crown jewels, which is Infinity, also known as Paraxanthine, developed by Shawn Wells, a great new novel stimulant that has less of a jittery effect and won't keep you up at night as much as caffeine anhydrous will. And that's because it's one of the 3 caffeine metabolites that breaks down in the human body. So caffeine goes in, it breaks down into paraxanthine, theophylline, and theobromine. Now, theophylline is responsible for the jittery effects of caffeine. Generally, coffee beans that are high in theophylline are the ones that really hit us hard, and theobromine's not too bad, it's pretty cool, but paraxanthine does most of the heavy lifting that caffeine delivers, the attention, the focus, and the steady energy. And it doesn't cause as much of an adrenal dump. So it's really good because you can have it at the start of the day for a great energy kick, at the middle of the day, and I can even have it as late as 3 p.m. and still sleep like a baby that evening. Then we come down the list and we get to Rodeo Prime. Rhodiola is one of my all-time favorite ingredients for boosting mood, focus, and energy levels. It helps prevent the breakdown of catecholamine, so it keeps energy around longer from the stimulants in here, which we'll get into, Anextra being one of them, and paraxanthine being the other. But it also helps slow down monoamine oxidase A and B enzymes to help keep around serotonin, dopamine, and a whole range of other neurotransmitters longer, hence the mood boost that you'll sometimes feel from a good rhodiola extract. And Rodeo Prime is a great rhodiola extract. We have another novel ingredient you don't see around a lot, and that is Sabroxy. Sabroxy is an Ayurvedic herb, and for me, I've tried this on its own before in the past. It's probably the closest thing to herbal madaf that I've ever come across. It's subtle, it's not as potent as something like that, but it really does provide that steady motivation that I used to get dabbling in some of those harder nootropics without the negative downsides like feeling burnt out, having trouble sleeping, and so on. I love Sabroxy. I wish I saw it around more often. Promotes a great mood as well, and it's really enjoyable. And in this blend, it's going to synergize beautifully. And then next up we have NeuroRush, a non-caffeinated coffee bean extract that promotes BDNF. And then second last, we've got Huperzine A, one of my favorite nootropic ingredients. It's dosed at kind of the upper dose that you could have Huperzine A at, which is 400 micrograms or 40 milligrams of the 1%. And this is just a great memory and recall ingredient. You will remember where you left your car keys easier. You will remember where you left your wallet. It just seems to give me that little bit extra random access memory to just keep a bit more things on my desktop at once upstairs. And essentially what it's doing is helping prevent acetylcholine breakdown. So it keeps acetylcholine just around a bit longer in the synapse, which helps boost that memory. And with those acetylcholine precursors in there topping up your acetylcholine, you really can't miss. Then last but not least, saffron. This is the Satyrial variety, and this is a great mood booster. It helps upregulate serotonin levels, helps with dopamine levels, helps with things like digestion and feeling satiated for longer, so it's sometimes used in weight loss formulas. But what I love about it is the mood and the desire to do things that it gives me. And so to see that in there alongside everything else, it really just is a product that has all of my favorite nootropic ingredients in one place. And for that price point, yeah, it's up there a little bit, but to get all of these separate, you would be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. To get this at an $89.95 price point with everything in there in one scoop, so you can have it daily for up to a month. And like I said, even at half scoop, this is really effective for daily use. But when I want to put the pedal to the metal, I'll take that full scoop. Awesome product. I can't sing its praises enough. I love Infinis Nutrition. I love what they're doing. If you're in the market for a really comprehensive nootropic and you've tried a few in the past and thought they're all right, and you want to step up to a big boy nootropic, get on Infinis Nootropic. You won't be disappointed. I highly recommend it. If I was to give it a rating for nootropic blends, it's an 11 out of 10. Hope that's helpful. Reach out if you've got any questions.